Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at a node tree I built using Spreadshop nodes in Blender. Basically, this is pretty basic, but it's kind of low level. We tried to create multiplication table using Blender. So this is one of the result. In this one, I think I start with 0. That's why we have 0 times 0 at the bottom. But normally, you want it to have, you want it to look like this. For example, this is 5 by 5. It should start at 1, not 0. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the multiplication. 5 by 2, 10, 5 by 3, 15. So this is kind of okay. We can of course make it prettier, but this is kind of sufficient. So how did I actually get here? I'm basically starting with a reference. So I'm creating this number pattern. So we know that if we have like if we want range of number between 0 and 5, like on the x and on the y, we want to create some kind of pair. So you can see here, there's some kind of pattern and pair of numbers. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and then all the way, so until we have the complete map, like a complete table of multiplication of numbers. So the nodes itself, at a glance, it looks really complicated, but it's actually really simple if I explain very, very quickly. So let's say we want number 1 to 5, and we want to multiply it. So we simply create a range of number. So range integer, and count is based on this number. And then here we try to create a pattern, just like below. So one pattern is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the other one is like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. And we simply pair the number using list zip. So I use a color on the list zip node, so we know that this is important. So with list repeater and these two numbers, we can get pair like this. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. So this is good. This is a good start. This is actually all these objects at the bottom here. So we already have lists of pair of numbers for our multiplications. So all we need to do is simply to list zip, split the number, so we can split it again for each pair we want to simply multiply it. See, I'm separating the first element and the second element and simply multiply it, and we get a result. And the result, of course, is the multiplication table. And the rest I do. I think with Spreadshop, probably the hardest concept is the leveling, to understand what's the list it's gonna look like. I often use the stethoscope, and you can see this is like list of elements. So the one that matters, of course, the smallest list and that element. But you can see there's like an extra bracket here to represent like a list of elements. But all I did basically, to whether I'm using list delete or list join or mixing or wrapping, it's really just to make sure it works with with the next node. And like I said, the one that matters in the end is the smallest element. Here at the bottom, I have two typography viewer, and this is for the two elements here. So one is for the bottom elements. Let me turn off only render. So we have these guys, and the other one is this number, which is the result of the multiplications. And so you have this alpha, and you also have this beta. I can actually hide the alpha, so we have just the table. But I think it's nicer with this element like that. So you can use just a number, or you can use these nodes. These nodes can give a limit. Sometimes it can be, there's like a slight bug. Sometimes you need to maybe unplug and plug it again in order to work. But so there you go. It's quite nice, right? This is if you ever need to do multiplications, like a table of multiplications, you can do it this way. So 20 by 20. So you have really large multiplication table. Oops. But this is kind of nice, and you can print it out, and you can turn it into 3D. You can also try to make like a 3D multiplication table, which is kind of interesting because you have all these numbers, and what's gonna happen next if you, let's say you create like a tower based on this number and make the height based on these numbers. And once you kind of understand the mapping of numbers, it's gonna be a lot easier. This is, I think, the one way you can approach this. There's of course many ways, and there's a like a simpler way to do this. Like if you, let's say if you are using Python, and ever need to do the list like this, Python actually kind of doing similar thing. If I try, so let's create this multiply.py. So in Python it will be something like this: for I in range 1 to 5, for j in range 1 to 5. We want to get result, so print I and j, and then the result is I multiplied by j, and print. Run the script, so we should get some kind of multiplication table, although it doesn't, we need to kind of arrange it so it looks kind of nice like this. It's a lot easier to do it this way. I'm actually using grid as well for the placement of the number. The grid is based on this plane MK2, so I can arrange the number the way I like it. Okay, so you can probably make all kind of table, but I think it's kind of nice. It's always kind of nice to look at the numbers in a grid like this. So there you go. If you want to try to do this yourself, try making it from scratch. Start with a range of integer, like start with numbers and try to create a pattern. Look at the pattern and see, here you have the zip, you have a pair of numbers, so you need to have list zip, and the rest is kind of interesting if you try to do it yourself. And if you not understand this, then you can understand Spreadshop a little bit better. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.